Hey y'all, Delaney here. We are going to be making a layered key lime pie. It is one of my favorites. It's my family's favorite. It's great for summer. So let's jump in. First layer we are doing is the graham cracker crust. Super easy. Here we go. So we are going to be adding the graham cracker crumbs, the sugar, and then melted butter. We're going to mix that up in the Cuisinart until it's all very nicely combined. It shouldn't be too wet, but definitely not dry. I have to scrape it a few times because of the butter gets stuck to the corners, but that's what I do. After it's all done, you're going to scrape it and add it into your pie tin. Now this recipe is kind of a large recipe, so it can either do two small pies, meaning not deep, probably 8-inch regular pie tin, or if you're doing a deep one, it'll be like I'm doing. It's 9 inches round, deep pie dish, and so it's going to be this and then some. So I usually do a few minis when I do this. If you can't, you can just do two small pie tins and that'll be perfect. Whatever works best for you. And I'm just using this little bowl thing that I have for decorations. I'm going to use that to help make it all nice and even at the bottom. You can use your fingers, but I'm a perfectionist, so I like to have a tool to do it, and this worked perfect. And I like crust. I like the filling too, but I love graham cracker crust. So I wanted to make sure it was very thick, and you can make it thicker or thinner depending on how you like your key lime pies. So I'm just going to do this for a few minutes until I make it look really pretty. And so yeah. Okay, I'm all done. This is the crust. I am going to stick it straight into the oven. It's going to be at 325 convection bake. If you use regular bake, it'll be 350 for 7 to 8 minutes. Now I'm going to do the little mini. Same exact deal, just mini pie tins. And you're going to add the graham cracker crust in there and just push it down flat. Same deal. And you just repeat it over again. 7 to 8 minutes. It'll probably be a lot less than that. So probably start with 3 to 4 minutes. And when you check on it, it should be pretty solid. You don't want to stick your finger into it because it will break, but just kind of give it a feel. It won't take that long. I'm going to say 3 minutes for the little minis. Okay. Okay, now we're going to do the key lime custard. Just condensed milk, egg yolks, and key lime juice. Separate the eggs and the yolks. You can use these egg whites for macaroons or something else that uses egg whites. I usually keep all mine and freeze them or use them right away to make macaroons. So I am just separating the egg yolks, as you see. I have an immersion blender right there, and I use it twice. Definitely recommend getting one of these bad boys. I use it all the time, actually. I almost never put it up. It's always on the counter because I use it so much. Great little tool. Anyways, I have the condensed milk, 2 cans, key lime juice, sugar, and egg yolks here. So condensed milk, key lime juice, sugar, and egg yolks. And I use the immersion blender to make sure it's all perfectly mixed. Great tool for when you want to do something with custards. Okie dokie. Now, this is optional. I personally like the look of Zest a lot. So I zest all the time. I'm constantly adding different orange, lime, or lemon zest to everything. But this one, we're going to use the key limes that I bought and zest them into the custard so that when it cooks, you see actual lime zest in it. And I think it's really beautiful when you cut into the pie to see that it is key lime. And so I zest a lot. You can totally decide how much you want to put in there. I think I used like 4 or 5 little key limes. They're so tiny, so you can just kind of get crazy with it, and it kind of freshens it up as well. So once you get the zest in there, stir it up really well so it's even and there's zest throughout. And then you're going to get your pie crust ready. Hopefully by then it's been sitting out on your countertop for a while. So here it is. I'm adding it straight into there. And you can see that, like I said, this is a deep dish 9-inch round pan, pie pan. And I still had plenty left over. You want to leave space because we have another layer too, so don't forget. Stick it in the oven, 275, convection bake, 300 for regular bake. Now we're working on our cream cheese top layer. And this one is what kind of separates it from other key lime pies. We're going to add cream cheese, vanilla. I use vanilla paste and everything. And you're going to whip it up. I usually leave it on the counter for a while so it softens and it makes this step easier. It'll be clunky if it comes straight from the fridge, so you want it to be completely soft. And now I'm just adding the key lime juice slowly. And this will take a few minutes because I don't want to splash it all out, which I did a few times, but you just want to be kind of careful with this. Now this layer will never completely stiffen. It will be liquid. It won't be like the custard. The custard will be completely hard or stiff and set really well. This won't set. It's going to be gooey, and it's going, when you cut it, it'll like leak out, which I love. Again, it kind of gives a different texture to the whole key lime pie thing, and I think this is the layer that separates everyone else's key lime pies from ours. And yeah, it's really pretty. When you cut into it, it goos out from the top. So this is going to take a few minutes, but then I add some sugar to it. The original recipe didn't call for sugar in this layer. I added it because it definitely needed it. It was way too tart without it. So you can do it if you want. I added it to the recipe here that y'all see. So you can enjoy that. Okay, so now I'm going to use that immersion blender again just to make sure there's no clunks of cream cheese and the vanilla is all nice and mixed and smooth. Here I am adding more zest. Of course, everything should have zest. And I'll do it a few more times after this. But yeah, just add some zest to there, whatever makes you feel happy. Hopefully by now your custard, key lime custard, is out and has been cooling. You do not want to add this on top of the hot key lime pie. So I take it out and let it cool for a while, and then maybe do this one when you know it's room temperature. Okay, so the top is ready. We're going to pour it on top of the custards. I have an example of the 2 minis I made and the regular sized key lime pie right here. And you just pour it right on top. And that's it. Put it in the fridge and let it sit overnight. Now I'm going to add whipped cream to it. I made this whipped cream. It is just heavy whipping cream. and I added some sugar and some vanilla, and I put in this little canister, and you can have like whipped cream instantly, or you can just whip it on the mixer, whichever you prefer. I just bought this, so I was kind of playing around with it. It's a lot tougher to use than probably just piping it on there, because you have less control. As you can tell, it got crazy in some spots, which I was okay with because I love whipped cream on my key lime pie. So if it was up to me, I'd have covered the whole entire top layer, but I didn't. And you can see in the center, it's jiggly. That is that top layer that I was talking about that will never completely set. And so when you cut into it, that layer is what's going to goo out. The custard won't, but that top layer does goo out, and it's just really beautiful. Now I'm adding more zest to make it a little bit more beautiful. And again, it's probably about 4 or 5 of these little key limes. They're so tiny. And just do it to your heart desires. You can decorate it any way you want. That's what's so great about key lime pies, and pies in general. You just can have fun with them. Okay, now I'm going to slice some key limes. Little tiny. I want them to be thin as possible without cutting my finger off. Just cut little thin slices, and then you can cut it down the middle and do like a little twist, whatever you prefer. You can even just use the rinds if you want. I like to use the whole key lime. Okay, y'all, that's it. After you decorate it, put it in the fridge, let it rest, and you want to be careful when you are moving these around. It needs to stay completely chilled until you're about to eat it. That top layer will literally come right off of it if you're driving and you're not careful. So definitely be cautious with these. They're beautiful and taste amazing, but it's a delicate little pie. But when you cut into it, it's great. And I think I even showed pictures on my Instagram of the cut small version. And that's it. Thank you for watching.